Hey friends, this is Pastor Craig, and I'd like to welcome you to the Ask Pastor Craig broadcast. My question this evening is this: how do we know that Jesus is real and the things that he did are real, the miracles, the resurrection, and things of that nature? There is an element of that whole experience that I'm uncertain of. Is there any science to validate or to back up Jesus' existence, his miracles, and his resurrection? Okay, thank you so much for your question. Actually, there's a whole sector of study based on exactly what you're talking about, and it's called apologetics. Apologetics deals with the science of faith. And, there's lots of great books on it. Let me kind of steer you towards two classic works of Christian literature that deal exclusively with apologetics. Now, apologetics, again, it's the science of Christian faith. Okay, so those books would be A Case for Christ by Lee Strobel, and the other one is called Evidence That Demands a Verdict, and it's by Josh McDowell. Now, both these books are great, and they deal with archaeology, history, and the science of our faith. And they're both excellent works. Now, I will tell you that when you begin to study apologetics, there are sections of each one of these books, as much as I hate to say it, that are a little bit boring. But I still think they're really worth reading, and I would encourage you, if this is something that you'd like to look into, to grab one of these two books or both of them. I've read A Case for Christ a couple of times. It's really an excellent book. Again, there's sections of the book that are a little bit boring, but whatever you pay for it, it really is worth checking out, and it will give you some intense archaeological proof, historical proof, and scientific proof to validate the existence of Christ, the miracles of Christ, and even the resurrection. I mean, they're really excellent books. But I would also like to say something to you about this. Aside from science, aside from history and archaeology, which are profoundly in the favor of the Christian faith, there's an element of the Christian religion that demands faith. Faith isn't a bad thing. Faith isn't a dirty word. All of us, including atheists, have an element of faith to our belief system. And I think there's a very important part of us that requires faith. Believing in something without maybe the evidence or the science to back that up. Now, faith should be well thought out, and it should be studied, and it should be cultivated. I'm not saying to have some kind of silly, unbiased, unfounded faith, but I am saying to you this: that there's an element of faith that is valuable, and faith can be rich, and it can be full of history, and it can be full of validation, and it can it can just be a very enriching element of your life. And so while I think there's plenty of evidence, there's plenty of valuable apologetics to back up our views in the Christian faith, there's also an element of our religion that requires that we believe in Christ without history, without archaeology. And I don't make any apologies for that. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's a valuable part of our faith. I mean, even Jesus said, "Blessed are those." He said to Thomas, you're blessed because you see and you believe, but so much more are those that believe even though they haven't seen. They aren't firsthand witnesses to the resurrection and the miracles and some of those things. So I would encourage you not to undervalue the element of faith in your search for truth. Now, again, that's not to undermine the apologetic side of our Christian faith, which is intensely valuable and available and easily apprehended. And so I would encourage you, again, A Case for Christ by Lee Strobel or Evidence That Demands a Verdict by Josh McDowell, both really excellent books on exactly what you're asking me about. Okay, God bless you. I really appreciate the question. If you would like to add to this or you have a question completely unrelated, I would really love to hear from you. You can do that in two ways. You can reach me at my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Pastor Craig Online, or you can reach me at this radio program's Facebook page, which is facebook.com/ROR Ministries. God bless you.